Yes, all right then, lads. Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. We are back again. It's Arsenal transfer news. We're going to be speaking a couple of stories. We're going to be speaking about a couple of players, including Byers. The Arsenal is looking into the fact that they could actually bring back Byers in January because he lacks game time at Real Madrid. So we are looking at bringing back Byers to cover up for the deficit that will be left by Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, who's suffering from a long-term injury until January. Does it make sense for you? I would love to know your thoughts in the comment box. In the comment box below. Donny van der Beek as well. Arsenal could have the opportunity to sign him in January as well on a potential loan deal that could mature into a permanent deal. But look, that was the story that we're gonna really look into in depth, because I think it's one that I will really love. We talk about Alexander Lacazette. Lacazette is said to have refused any form of contract extension. However much Arsenal have started to reconsider, and they are thinking about giving him a new long-term contract, probably 2 years or 3 years. I don't know if that is short-term or long-term, but we'll try to dive into that and see what exactly could happen with with Arsenal on that end. And finally, the story of Dennis Zakaria. I've always spoken about Dennis Zakaria, and finally Arsenal have expressed their interest in Dennis Zakaria. Can we get him to play at the Emirates Stadium? That animal is gonna be coming by on this show. Make sure you smash a like on the video and make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. I want to thank all the people, 33,887 people who have already subscribed to the channel. Thank you, thank you for doing that. It absolutely means a lot to me as a content creator, but again, it really means a lot to me as an Arsenal fan, having a couple of Arsenal people really doing their doing our thing. Really means a lot to me. Throughout this month, I want to announce this partnership. So throughout this month, our videos will be brought to you by H&H Gamers. Now, these ones are found in of course, if you're not in Uganda, not really, you won't be able to play our games. But H&H Gamers, if you want to play the latest FIFA 22, if you want to play the latest Mortal Kombat, if you want to play the latest games, you're going to check out H&H Gamers. They are found in Makerere did I say Makerere University? Located Makerere Chikoni. So if you are in Uganda and you love playing games, check out H&H Gamers. Their contacts are going to be in the description of the video. You can call them. You can just pass by there in Makerere Chikoni. There is a very big building, and they have a very big game store. I will be passing by on a couple of occasions, having just to play some games, and probably I should be doing my career modes from there. I'm thinking about that. I should be doing my career modes from there. It's something that I'm thinking about. If we can add career modes to the Arsenal podcast, then I should be going there and doing my career modes, Arsenal career modes. I'm not really good at FIFA 22, and I'm not really good at FIFA, but you never know. I could just become this guy, your guy in FIFA. So check out H&S Gamers, and of course H&S, thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for always standing by, because he's an Arsenal fan and really watches the videos all the time. We're gonna try to dive into our stories now, but before I get into that one, by the way, Spurs have sacked Nuno Espirito Santo, right? Spurs have sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. It was coming, wasn't it? It was coming. They've been performing poorly. Yes, they've collected 15 points. Surprisingly, they're only 2 points behind Arsenal. But they started off the season very well. But things have really not worked out for Nuno. I thought they brought him as an excuse. They wanted the likes of Ten Hag. They wanted the likes of Conte. And they refused. They refused on first attempt, and that's why they brought in Nuno. Things have not really worked out, and finally, the old man has been sacked by Spurs. And according to Fabrizio Romano, now there is there is some time, but there could be an agreement between Spurs and Antonio Conte. What the hell is that? Antonio Conte could become the next Spurs manager. It's something that I really don't want to think about, because if Spurs get Conte, they are definitely going to spend money in January and even in the summer. His contract will run until 2023. That means he's gonna rejuvenate Spurs. It's a big scare for Arsenal, especially the fact that we have started picking up points, and we are looking at top 4 or top 6 now. Because you can see our league position at the moment is 6th. So if Spurs bring in Conte, it's scary. It's scary. But that is the update around around Spurs. No update around Chelsea. The other big rivals, no update. Social is to stay. Basically, that's it. So let's try to dive into our transfer news at the moment, and we'll start off with the story of Dennis Zakaria. Now, I've already spoken about Dennis Zakaria, and everybody knows who has watched this channel, how much I rate Dennis Zakaria. In the summer, when we were talking about a couple of players to come in and play defensive midfield and central midfield, I talked about Dennis Zakaria. His contract was running down, is running down in this summer, and that means if there is a chance for Borussia Mönchengladbach to get any money from him, it's gonna be in the January transfer window. So Gladbach are looking at holding out for 24 million in what you would call an expensive deal. For me, a player who is already running down of their contract, a player whose contract is running down, there is no way there is no way we should be looking at paying 24 million, because in the summer it's gonna be for free. So I think what Borussia Mönchengladbach have to know is the best they can get out of Dennis Zakaria at the moment is 15 million. And I think if Arsenal take this advantage, because in the summer, you don't know, Xhaka could leave, in the summer, or if not in the summer, you'll have to, we'll have to replace him. So for me, it's a perfect replacement for Granit Xhaka. Both of them playing at Switzerland, and both of them playing at players of Borussia Mönchengladbach. I think Zakaria is a little bit more solid. His passing is also very, very late, and I think, look, let's be honest. Arsenal will need a central midfielder come January. Partey is gonna leave, Elneny is gonna leave, Xhaka comes back. It's not going to be that fit. We will need to bring in a central midfielder, and Dennis Zakaria has already been named among the targets that we are looking at, and I really do not have a problem with him. Not that creative player you want, not that creative player that I would want. If you played him with Thomas Partey, I think he would be a very, very good player. If you played him with Thomas Partey, I've been still hoping that we bring in a player like Houssem Aouar, a player that can add a little bit more creativity to the side, someone who emulates Samuel Nasri. I've always wanted someone like that, but it looks like it's not going to happen. It looks like that is never going to happen. So, look, if Dennis Zakaria signs for Arsenal, I'm absolutely fine. I'm absolutely okay with it. I think he's a very good player, and he's a sensational talent. But the question is, will Arsenal hold out and get that money, 24 million or 20 million in January? Yes, it's there is need, but can Arsenal spend 20 million in January? It's going to be a very, very big question. Now, away from that, still talking about central midfield options, is Donny van de Beek. Now, look, with Donny van de Beek, Arsenal do not have an upper hand in this one. AC Milan is also interested in taking Donny, and if you've been following AC Milan at the moment, they are in the title race with Napoli and Inter Milan. Look, I think my problem with AC has always been the fact that they can't. Even last season, they tried to do it. They can't just keep it consistent. They can't keep their performances really, really consistent. But if they take Donny van de Beek, because they know if they're gonna win the league, they've got to expand. They've got to have that, the kind of squad depth. So so do Arsenal. We know that if we want to fight for top 6, because come January, I think the next fixtures in November, we have Watford, Liverpool, then you have the likes of West Ham coming there, the likes of Everton, and then I think December is when we play Manchester United. So we have a couple of rough games coming up until January. But if we can hold on to our breath until January, get in and stay in the top 8 positions in January, what you have to do if you want Europa League football is you've got now to fight as hard as possible to get in good players, not really players that you might not be looking at players 50 million, 60 million players. No, you're not Newcastle, but you're looking at players that could just back your squad up. You're trying to back your squad up. You're trying to create that kind of length in your squad, length of options in your squad, and I think Arsenal do need that if you're going to make it top 4 or top 5. Now, Donny van de Beek, for me, I've always said this, it was a mistake. It would be just like the Martin Odegaard situation. He makes his debut for Real Madrid at 16, and then at 22, 23, he's a settled Arsenal player. That is what I'm talking about. With Donny van de Beek, he's not appreciated at Manchester United. Now, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to stay at the club and things like that, he's gonna struggle. We know, we all know the struggles that are at Manchester United. Pogba is looking for where to play. Matic is looking for where to play. Of course, Matic is old, but we know his class. Now you have the likes of Fred, you have the likes of McTominay, who have become big starters. Donny van de Beek is frustrated, and for me, Arsenal, a club that is looking for an Albert Sambi Lokonga partner. We could use Donny. I mean, get him in. It's never gonna be a permanent deal, is it? It's never gonna be a permanent deal. It's gonna be a free, a loan deal where we get to pay his wages or half of his wages. Then if United can't agree to the idea of giving us Donny van de Beek, I think he's better. Way better than Dennis Zakaria, because for me, with Donny, you have a player who's gonna push you forward, a player who's gonna create for you chances, and a player who's gonna score at least 2-3 goals in those 6 months. And of course, trust me, when goals coming in from the deeper areas of the pitch. Of course, he loves to play that kind of advanced midfielder, and I love it. So if you have Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Donny, and Albert Sambi Lokonga, I think we are sorted for January. So I'll take Donny van de Beek. The chances are still very low. Like I said, Milan are also interested, and of course I think United will want to sell to Milan rather than sell to Arsenal. That is the truth. Away from that, still talking about midfield options, is Dani Ceballos. Come on, Arsenal, you're better than that. We are really, really better than that. Look, he was at Arsenal, and he did a couple of exciting jobs and boring jobs as well at the same time. But I don't know. I just don't feel like Dani Ceballos should be coming back. I would rather go for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on loan. Look, if you ask me between Chamberlain and Ceballos, I'm going for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Actually, I think Chamberlain is still the problem with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is his injury-prone record. Very, very injury-prone. But if you put him in that kind of midfield role, maybe, because it's not very, very, he's another player that doesn't really sit very, very deep. All he's gonna do for you is kind of speed up the reaction in the game, and of course create a couple of chances, because he really does that. That is one of his areas of speciality. He really does love creating love creating chances. So with Dani Ceballos, I don't see him as a player who directly replaces Thomas Partey. He doesn't do that, and it's not a player who even improves us. I think it's a downgrade, and the least thing we need is to get Thomas Partey out of the way and Xhaka out of the way, and then you have a downgrade of a replacement. For me, I'm looking at someone who's got pace, either Zakaria or Donny van de Beek, someone who's got the class, either Zakaria or Donny van de Beek, someone who's got the talent, Zakaria or Donny van de Beek, and someone who can play in the Premier League, Zakaria or Donny van de Beek. So that is what I'm looking out for in January. The good thing with Dennis Zakaria is You could bring him in January and keep him forever. I mean, he's gonna be a free agent in the summer. The good thing with Donny van der Beek is that he's already miserable at Manchester United. Bring him in January, let him do well, put the money on the table, 47-48 million for Manchester United, and you have your players off. I don't agree with Byers. I think Arsenal should be should and could do better in terms of a central midfield. And lastly is Alexander Lacazette. Don't forget to check out H&A Scammers. All the information you need, location, they're located in Makerere, so make sure you do check them out. Location is in the is in the video description. You're going to have games. You're going to have to play games, right? It's all about games. And H&A's, look, you should be preparing my way. I should be coming to play my career mode, right? I should be coming to play my career mode at H&A's. So I'm still finding time to come and play my career mode there. So with Alexander Lacazette, stories have started to crop up that he's not going to allow any offers to stay at Arsenal Football Club. He will actually decide to leave in the air. Now, of course, he's had a couple of good performances already this season, around 3 very, very good performances, and I think that's why Arsenal tempted to let him stay. Now, look, I'm gonna say this. Someone already attacked me and said, Kosi, you wanted him to go. I still want him to go. I want Arsenal to bring in someone better. I want someone to Arsenal to look. If we keep Lacazette, we are losing the chances of getting players like Belotti, who I don't really rate so much, but he's young and he has a higher ceiling. We are losing the chances of bringing players like Ivan Toney in the summer. You lose chances of bringing in players like Dusan Vlahovic in the summer from Fiorentina. Look, I think we've got to look ahead. I admit, with Aaron Ramsdale, I could have been wrong, especially with the pricing, and I never really wanted him. I never really fancied, and I never really gave him the chance he deserved as a player, as a new signing. But I said I wanted Onana, and if Onana is in direct competition with Aaron Ramsdale, who would win? I don't know. Probably Ramsdale wins. Probably Onana wins. I don't know, and I do not care, because now Ramsdale is my goalkeeper. But with Alexander Lacazette, I'm looking at it in these two ways. Even if Lacazette stays, he's not going to give you another 3 good seasons. He's not going to give you another 5 good seasons. Why don't we go for a player like Dusan Vlahovic? Bring him in, let him settle for probably 1 or 2 seasons, and then see if it clicks like all our new signings have done. You never know. Bring in Dusan Vlahovic or Lautaro Martinez and get the party rolling. So that's it, guys. Later I will try to expand on these stories. That's the update. In the live streams, we'll try to expand on these stories and see what exactly we'll be talking about. Video proudly brought to you by H&A Gamers.